Interestingly, a lot of companies, traditional companies also, they have also started looking at these boomerang ads in a very different way. Gone are the days when people used to say, एक बार छोड़ के गए तो छोड़ के गए, हमें क्या लेना? That doesn't happen.
Hi Dheeraj, welcome to the Curious Tech Show. How are you doing?
Hi, Rana. Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm doing great. How are things with you?
All good, all good. Dheeraj, we've known each other a while, right? We go back to Darwin Box,
Yeah,
but how I like to start off the show is people who are watching in who don't know who Dheeraj is. Why don't you quickly just give a quick intro of who is Dheeraj and what is Dheeraj up to?
sure. So, hi everyone. My name is Dheeraj Arora. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Boomerangs.ai, where our sole aim is to build the world's largest and the most impactful alumni network. We started this company around 11 months ago, and yes, I'll be sharing my journey about this company and probably before that as well, eventually while going through the conversation.
Great, great. So, like I said, I think we go back to I think 10 years almost now when we both were at Darwin Box,
Yeah.
but and now you started your own company, right? I always think like what's the mindset, right? That you worked for so many years, or you're doing super well, and then what's the problem statement that you saw, right? What forced you or rather what compelled you to go on this journey in boomerangs. We'll get to boomerangs later, but I would love to understand, and for people listening in, what's the problem statement you saw that you felt that you needed to start up?
Okay. Okay, before Boomerangs, I was working with Darwin Box. I worked there for close to 4 years. Uh, and I was part of the sales team there. And what I realized is that each and every RFP that used to come my way, everywhere there was requirement of an alumni module. Now, according to me, alumni module is different from the alumni management system we are developing to a large extent, but bear with me for some time. So everyone was asking for alumni module. Most of the existing clients were also asking for some kind of alumni engagement. And strangely, no HCM company, no HRMS or HCM company, the big company, has so far invested in developing an alumni module. Leave the Indian players aside. You look at most of the legacy players like SAP, Oracle, Workday. None of them has invested in developing this kind of module. So it always kind of like intrigued me why. So we set out to do more research on alumni management. Some of the strange things which we come up were like alumni management systems or the concept per se is extremely old. I think the first alumni system was developed for Microsoft back in 1995, right? So the
Oh,
concept is that
okay.
old. While if you see for the past over the past 15 or 20 years, the HR tech market has evolved considerably. The penetration of HR tech systems were, I think, somewhere around 5% globally. They are now at like 35% globally. The alumni systems could not breach, I believe, the 1% mark also. Their overall penetration in the market globally has been less than 1%. So we did a lot of research. We came across three, four different problems. Okay, this is the reason why people are not getting the required benefits from those systems. And once we had the answers to those problems, once we knew that our solutions kind of make sense and these are easily implementable as well, that is when we thought, okay, fine, let's leave the job and let's start the company.
Interesting, but why is that? So you're right. Like I think 10 years back or 9 odd years back when we started, it was single digits, right? HR tech penetration. Now it's 35. I'm surprised. I thought it's more than 50. But what happened? Like why hasn't alumni kept up? We'll get into benefits of alumni later, right? For everyone listening in. But kya hua? Like why didn't it really penetrate with the HR tech
Okay.
providers?
See, alumni management system, if you see one persona is an employer, another persona is an employee, right? So for these two persona, I will use the word like demand side and supply side, where alumni is the demand side and employer is the supply side. Now, if you look at the demand side persona, that is alumni persona. Again, I give you some interesting facts. Uh, LinkedIn has this concept of alumni groups, right? And I'm taking its example because it's the largest professional social network which is out there. They have lakhs of alumni groups, right? And the surprising thing is around 95% of these groups do not have any kind of employer involved. It just tells you that
Acha.
the demand side from alumni is so strong that without the employer getting involved, people are going to LinkedIn and creating some kind of alumni network and having some kind of discussion on networking, right? But any alumni system has to be set up by an employer, and that is where the constraints come. One of the first things probably, and if you look at from India market, and this is true globally as well, people will ask, hey, boss, what is the return on investment? First of all, what is my investment? And second is, what is the return on investment? And I think the traditional alumni management systems have not done justice to this problem statement. So even if you look at other alumni systems which are out there in the market, and you simply go to their websites and try to learn what they solve for, everyone will be talking about the intangible benefits where they talk about brand advocacy, where they talk about the fact that these alumni can be your potential brand ambassadors. And while the point is completely taken, and it is one of the most important things and one of the most important asks, but what is the real hard ROI? That is what was missing from some of these platforms. If you look at the platforms which are coming from the North America, the USA primarily, which is a more matured market than our market, right? There at least people are now talking about the concept of boomerang hires, which is becoming very popular. So for my audience, I want to tell boomerang hires are the people who leave the organization and they come back and join the same organization again, right? So boomerang hires, one of the benefits that organizations get out of it in terms of again hard ROI is they don't have to spend money on the traditional recruitment channels, right? A boomerang hires, if someone says, hey, I want to join the organization back, it means the organization has not spent any money, right? So they save the recruitment cost in that way. Again, you will find it like odd, but this is happening in USA where there are certain global listed companies, and as part of their statements, they say we had 20% boomerang hires this quarter. We had 15% boomerang hires this quarter. So this trend is kind of like catching up there.
Oh, so people are encouraging that now.
People are encouraging that very, very, very significantly. See, the way I look at this problem statement, Ranak, is see, nowadays the people at 2022, especially in the tech enabled industries, when they are joining, right, they are bound to leave those organizations after a couple of years. And in fact, if you see the
That's right.
early attrition rate, which we
Yeah.
typically call like 3 to 6 months or maybe up to a year, is traditionally high in all the industries, no exceptions, right? Now what happens is people leave the organization, they go and try their luck at another organizations, they acquire new skills, they build their career, and after eventually working for 6, 7, 8, 10 years in the industry, they start realizing some of the intangible things as well. For example, like a work culture, not everything is about money, like work culture, work life balance, those kind of things start becoming important. And that is when they realize, "Hey, was I have worked with 4 different organizations, right? Now I have these kind of skills. Can I go back to this organization where I had like one of the best periods of my life, one of the best stints of my life, and I can get probably the similar package as the other companies are paying me." So this kind of thought process is coming to people. They are yearning to be boomerang hires, and interestingly, a lot of companies, traditional companies also, they have also started looking at these boomerang hires in a very different way. Gone are the days when people used to say, एक बार छोड़ के गए तो छोड़ के गए, हमें क्या लेना? That doesn't happen, right? So I think this is like one thing which is fast catching up in the mature markets, and then we have come up with the brand new concept which will give that hard ROI. And I don't know whether I will be successful as an organization, I will be successful or not, but I tell you, we are definitely going to create a new category. The way people look at alumni management systems at least 2 years or 3 years down the line is going to get completely changed, especially because of the concepts that we have introduced in this market. The first one is we have introduced the concept of like a job referral, alumni job referral. Uh, Ranak, you are in HR, right? You are heading an organization's HR. One of the best, I'm sure you must be agreeing with me when I say one of the
Yeah, yeah,
best
yeah.
sources of hires is employee referrals.
Correct.
right?
Number one, I mean,
I have
cost
seen
effective,
organizations,
everything.
number one,
Yeah,
cost effective. The drop offs from employee referrals are also significantly low,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because the skin of the employee is involved. So we thought, why not apply the same thing on an alumni as well? Alumni base for a mature organization is significantly larger than an employee base, right? Now you have seen organizations having around 25 to 40% of their overall hires as employee referrals, and that's a significant number. So if we can add something like say 10 to 20% of alumni referrals, the cost that the companies will save will be tremendous. We did some internal calculations, so we can say it can help save a company save up to like 20% of their overall alumni cost. And where I'm coming, where are these numbers coming from? If you typically see, uh, if you hire via traditional modes of hiring, you end up paying somewhere between 10 to 20% of annual CTC, right? But if you
yeah.
go for referrals, let's say alumni referrals, the amount that you will be paying will be somewhere around 1 to 30%. So add somewhere around 15% of the traditional hire switching to alumni referrals, and you can calculate the savings that you will be having.
Hmm. So,
So this is
you're right.
one. Hmm.
No, you're right. Like, uh, of course, referrals is the number one. Like for us also, we obviously like. I think every company, right? You index on how do you do referrals, how do you maximize referrals. But yeah, right. You're right. The problem is that like getting getting that word out on referrals is always a
Yeah.
challenge, and people who. But I just want to sorry, Tej, I'll just sidetrack a little. I want to come back to you spoke of boomerang highs. This is a new concept, and honestly, I've not heard of it in India. To be honest, among at least the circles I run, is this a very West thing? It's not caught up in India, or in your experience, it's already there, but only the very large companies are doing it.
Okay. I probably will give a slightly controversial answer. Uh, every large organization's HR team, CHRO, is talking about boomerang hires, right? Or at least you would have seen they talk about the people, or especially the female employees who have left their organization because of pregnancy, and now they want to come back, right? This is like a form of a boomerang hires. But everyone talks about
Hmm.
this. The problem is the tools which are out there which can enable it or not. And the same concept applies to referrals as well. Like if I am saying the word alumni referrals, I didn't coin the word, I didn't coin the concept. The concept is already there, but how do you do alumni referrals? That's a problem, right? And alumni referrals
Hmm.
also, when I talk about it, it's not very simple. Okay, you post a job, someone refers you, and the referral is done. No, the point is, why will someone refer you? Because you have to pay him money. And very interesting thing which people do not realize, and of course we also didn't realize it unless we started developing the product and saw the challenges. An organization cannot pay money to an alumni, to an alum directly. Like for example, if you can pay money to an employee because you have already done the KYC of the employee, right? It is simply
Hmm.
going into your payroll. That's correct. But an alum, he's not an employee, so he's like a vendor to that organization, right? Now, if you have to make money, or if you have to make payment to a vendor, you have to register him as a vendor in your organization. There are KYC related regulations. From India point of view, there are RBI related regulations. There will be yearly audits, right? So all these challenges are there. Now, let's say even a large organization, which is let's say 2,000 employee organization, the number of vendors they will be having probably will be less than 100. But your alumni base is, let's say, 5,000 alumni, and out of this, even 1,000 people over a period of 5 years give a successful referral. So you will be adding like 1,000 vendors to your existing base of 100 vendors. And your finance team will be like, boss, this is not going to happen. My audits, my everything is going to get screwed up because of such huge number of vendors, right? And for every vendor that is getting added, people have to pay additional cost for the system that they're using. All those things come into picture. So initially, when we set out to solve the referral problems, we were only looking at, okay, boss, alumni can refer, and you pay money to him outside the system. That was our like initial thought process. But when we understood the nuances of the business, we thought, hey, boss, we are solving an HR problem and we are trying to create a finance problem, right? So what we ended up doing is we have developed a platform in such a way that we become like a vendor to an organization. So if, let's say, Ranak, I take your example, you have to pay 50,000 rupees to five alums for five successful referrals. That is 2.5 lakh rupees. So you don't pay 2.5 lakh rupees to them. You simply pay 2.5 lakh rupees to us. We divide it into 50,000 rupees each and we pay it to them. So, and we charge some around 10% convenience fee on top of that. So as part of this convenience fee, what we do is we verify the PAN number of the alumni, right? Everything is done online. He puts his PAN card number and we verify it online. The name is returned to us. Then we ask him to share his bank account details. We drop 1 rupee to his bank account. The name is given back to us by the bank. We match the name which has come from the PAN card information and from the bank account, and we verify whether it is the same. If it is the same, nothing like this, 100% match, successful. If it is a partial match, less than 85%, then the manual verification comes into picture. We ask for some more data from that particular alumni. But anything above 85% match, the payment is processed instantly. We also deduct 10% TDS as part of the payout. We also make sure that on the every quarter the payment is released to the IT department. Form 26CS is updated. All those activities are completely done by us. So effectively saving significant bandwidth from the organization, and we are taking up that pains, and that's why we are developing this platform.
Understood. That's very interesting. Yeah, you're removing that friction from the company side. Right? Companies just
Yeah,
who have the intent, right? But they're like, there's so much friction.
yeah.
And for those listening in, we'll ask Dheeraj to open up his screen and share and talk of his product. But before we get to that, I'll just take a minute. So we've clearly established, right? The hiring part is all, it's a friction problem, but we all know everyone in the HR world will welcome, right? That if alumni can refer, nothing like it. So that's one very large use case of like the alumni. In your experience, and maybe it's getting a little theoretical here, but what are the other benefits, right? For let's say and I'm talking an HR listening in, HR head of a company, 1,000 or 800 to 1,000, right? That's where you're at good scale, right? If you're 800,000, you have a huge number of alums. For them or him or her listening in, what are the benefits overall, holistically? What are all the benefits that having a very strong tech-enabled alumni platform will give them? We've already established about hiring. What others, Dheeraj?
So let's talk about from an employer point of view first. One is definitely the concept of referral, then the concept of boomerang hires. We talked about both of these things. The second is the concept of brand advocacy. This is also, I feel, where the Indian market is lagging, but the US is like US has done well when it comes to like brand advocacy. Now you look at it this way. Sorry, I'll give a slightly long answer to this point of brand
Sure,
advocacy
sure, sure.
because this is very important, right? A lot of companies realize the fact that when an employee is going to leaves your organization rather, he's either going to champion your organization or critique your organization. You can't stop it. He's going to talk to other people
Yeah.
about your organization, right? You can't stop it. But if you engage that alum well, somehow make it feel like part of the family, right? Why an alumni management system? Of course, that's the only solution right now we are having, or maybe if there are other means available, there is a greater likelihood that he will talk positive about your organization, right? It's all the questions of probabilities and likelihoods, nothing else. So if you engage an alum well over a period of 3, 4, 5, 6 years, can that alum become like your brand ambassador? And that is another problem statement which alumni management systems solve. And how do you get benefits of these kind of things? Look at it this way: your company launches a new product, right? You have, let's say, a 2000 employee company. So which are the typical people who go to LinkedIn or who go to Facebook and start resharing or liking your post and putting in comments? These are 90% of the times these are your employees. Hardly you will see your customers and all they are talking about this or liking it so much, right? It doesn't happen. Let's be practical. These are your employees, right? Now your alumni base is larger than them. So if your alumni is engaged well, right, they will amplify they will amplify your voice on the social media, and that's the benefit that you're getting over a period of time. It's difficult to quantify, but that's another major use case that is getting solved, right? So that is one thing which we solve.
It's a
Uh,
revenue.
the Yeah, it can turn into a revenue. In fact, there is one research which states
Yeah. Yeah.
an alumni recommendation is considered 5x more valuable than a customer recommendation. राइट? एक एलएम के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से सोचो, वो आपकी कंपनी छोड़ के चला गया, स्टिल ही इज टॉकिंग वेल अबाउट योर
Yeah,
ऑर्गेनाइजेशन.
understood.
व्हाट इज द रीजन? राइट? कस्टमर तो फिर ठीक है, ही इज योर
Hmm.
कस्टमर, तो ही विल टॉक वेल अबाउट योर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. So this is very important. And third thing, which is also again very important, at least for larger companies, is the concept of removing friction when it comes to communication between a company and the alumni. सिंपल, बहुत सारी हमारी नॉर्मल रिक्वायरमेंट्स होती है बीइंग एल्यूमिनाई. आर फॉर्म 16 हैव टू कम आफ्टर अ पीरियड ऑफ ऑलमोस्ट अ ईयर. देयर आर FNF spending. There are some other kind of employment documents which are required by you, and you don't know what to do. You start sending emails to the people, you know the phone numbers of the HR, you start calling them, and the entire experience goes really bad. Even though everyone in the organization is working hard to resolve your queries, but a slight delay or a miscommunication, the delay is also largely a function of miscommunication most of the
Hmm.
times, right?
Hmm.
And what happens is the impact of that is someone is going to Glassdoor or Ambition Box and saying, "Hey boss, मेरा 3 महीने से पे slip नहीं आया. I've been following up with them. It's really bad
Hmm.
experience." This is what people do,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And most
Yeah.
of the times, people on Glassdoor are the people who like talk negatively about your organization, right? I share an anecdote here, Ranak. I was having a demo with one organization in the BFSI space, which was more than 10,000 employees, a very well known, a very large name, right? And I just went to their Glassdoor before the demo of my product, and I saw their rating is like 3.4, 3.5, and the rating is given by only 391 people. That's it. Their employee base is 10,000. Their alumni base is 30,000. There are over 40,000 employees of the company, employees slash ex employees. Only 391 people rated. And that's not the number which any organization would want. They will want at least 10% of the base should be there, right? But people will talk about, hey, this company's Glassdoor rating is 3.6. It is bad. People shouldn't join and all those things, right? So how do you avoid those things? Again, engage people, and that is again where the use of alumni systems come.
Hmm.
And solving all those small queries is also very important. It's part of that rigor.
Got it, Dheeraj. This was interesting. Now, I think we've discussed theory, but the entire point of the show is to give people listening in a quick glimpse on the practical college mein hota tha, the actual product, right? So, Dheeraj,
uh,
if you have it in handy, would actually love to see the product and how you're solving all these problems. And while you're talking, like we can even address some of the problems and questions that come up.
sure, definitely. In fact, I'm going to share my screen. I'm new to the platform, so please help me. I'm going to share my entire screen.
Yes, I can see your whole screen.
Is my screen visible now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, this screen is visible. Perfect.
Yep.
So when I show the demo of my product, I'm going to talk about two personas. One
Hmm.
persona is going to be an alumni persona, another persona is going to be an employer persona. And
Makes
we'll,
sense.
we'll talk about how the engagement is happening and what are the USPs of our product as well. And I will also talk about what were the problems and how we are solving it,
Perfect.
right? So the screen which is right now you all people are seeing, this is like the employee persona. Once an alum logs in, he always logs in using his personal email ID, which is in the records of the corporates, and his password. So once he logs in, he is welcomed with the landing page. This is one example of a landing page. Okay. The landing page is completely customizable as per the employer requirement. Their branding, their logo, their colors, their content, everything as per their requirement. While you saw this one landing page, I will show you another landing page as well. This is like a Figma image, but this is what we developed for one of our clients. If you see this,
Hmm. Yep.
you can have your YouTube
Got it.
video
On
links
a picture
embedded
visible.
here.
Okay.
You can have like your social feeds, news feeds, all those things. Everything can be part of this. So this is like another example, right? So after this, the most important thing for any LM is something called an echo module. Echo is basically that is where the most of the engagement happens, right? The company, if it wants to share the happenings within the organization, wants to share some images, videos, newsletters, everything happens by this. I will say we have taken inspiration from LinkedIn to make this particular kind of page. So if you see, the company can come here and share the happenings within the organization. Whatever they are sharing on LinkedIn, the exact same things can be shared on this particular platform as well. Now the employees can come, employees can talk about, employees can like your post, they can comment on top of this, right? They can tag other people in the post and they can talk to each other as well. So it's like a common wall with a company as well as the alumni. Again, something very similar to LinkedIn, right?
Got it.
If they also want to share something, they can come and talk about it here as well. We have also enabled a brief concept of polls as well. If someone wants to share a poll, they want to maybe a poll on the platform as well, whether it is providing you the usage that you wanted or not. All these polls can also be shared on the platform. Moving on, I am going to show you the documents module. This is where all the documents which are shared by your corporate or by your employer, those all those documents will be available here, right? Now, the interesting thing that I want to solve here is when I talk about these things is look at from and while we talked a lot about what are the problems we are solving for the employers, we didn't talk a lot about what are the problems we are trying to solve for the alumni, right? The end user on the platform. If you remember from my conversation, I already established that there is a significant demand from the alumni to be on alumni network by giving the example of LinkedIn, where I said 95% of the alumni groups are completely managed by the alumni, right? And the overall number is also very high. Now, what is the problem with now the problem, major problem that comes is I, as an alum, on an average, will be the alum of 5 to 6 different organizations, right? This number is true for any employee out there. Now, if all these 5, 6 different organizations give me give me one platform to log in, I'm not going to remember the URL of each and every single platform. I'm not going to log in into each and every platform, right? That is humanly not possible, right? And that is where most of the drop-offs happen. So there are many organizations, believe me, who do great job at engaging the alumni, but people simply do not log in. कोई भी इतना पेन नहीं लेना चाहता. So what and everyone logs in probably using his personal email ID. So what we have done on Boomerang's platform is if there are let's say 5 companies, company A, B, C, D, E, all of these 5 companies are using Boomerang's platform, and there is one person who has worked with all these 5 companies. He just has to log in once to app.boomerangs.ai. That's it, and all his different companies will be available under this just one drop down. Sorry, I don't have anything to show here, but if you click here on this one, like say the Boom Group, it will show you the names of all your previous employers who are using the Boomerangs platform, and you simply click on
Got
the
it.
other company name, right, and your entire persona is switched to that company. Now, from a user point of view, look at it this way: I work for 5 companies. I log in once. I just select my company name, and all the documents corresponding to those 5 companies are available here. I don't need the Google's drives and OneDrives and manage them or look into my emails. Where are all this data? Everything is just under available under one login. So that is the problem statement we are trying to solve from an alum point of view. Moving further, any kind of FAQs which are being hosted by the employer, all those things will be available. This is a very small feature, nonetheless, an important one. One of the most important ones is the concept of tickets. This is very important. Anyone has any kind of grievance, they can come here, talk about their problem, give it in description. They want to upload any kind of document, they can come and upload it here and select the relevant category and subcategory. Please note the category and subcategory are defined by the employers as per their requirement. Once the ticket is raised, let me show you how the persona looks like. This is how it looks like. We personally have tried to keep the UI for tickets persona in a conversational style. While it is not exactly a conversation, it goes like someone raises a ticket, a mail goes to someone, then he answers as per the tag, but the overall persona is very conversational. We feel this is where people feel like more comfortable, and that is where some of the best outcomes can happen. And once the ticket is
Got it.
closed, they will be able to give the feedback on the tickets. They're able to track SLAs. All those things are available here. And
Got it. And
again, one of the most important thing
this
with
is integrated. So this is integrated. So someone from the employer side is answering these tickets right through their email or whatever it is,
that's
or they
yes,
are logging in on the platform and doing it.
They are primarily logging in. While we do a lot of integrations, which I will talk about in a while, tickets integration is something which we do not do at the moment. We are also not very
Got it.
keen on doing that, because I believe the employee persona and the alumni persona are very different when it comes to tickets. So if you combine them into one, the maintenance of that becomes very problematic. So you will be creating more problems for you rather than solving this.
Understood. So one of the my main personal pain points I've seen is ESOPs, right? That, and this is personally, I want to ask, what happened to my ESOP letter? Where is my ESOP letter, right? And of course, I have to now email. Uh, that's a big one, right? I'm sure that's a big problem that a lot of people are facing. How are you addressing that?
Yeah, again, see two things. Let me take an example of a large company, let's say the Flipkart kind of companies, where very large alumni, and probably every person who has moved out of Flipkart has some kind of ESOPs with them.
Yeah,
And let's
yeah.
say when the company goes public, right? Now, if you look at ESOPs, these are mostly all options. Those options have to be converted into shares, and those shares have to be allocated, and there is a long process. Now, for a company like Flipkart, resolving this, I don't know if they are using any alumni management system or not. For the conversation, let's assume they are not using it, right? Now they will have to reach out to their all their alumni. They will have to tell them do this kind of steps. Some kind of KYC have to be done. They will be sending emails to people, or they will specifically will have to create a new web page, host it on their website. These are the only two solutions which are coming into mind. Or they can use alumni management kind of products where they can specifically give the entire information in the FAQ sections by creating a new category called ESOPs, telling people how to do. And then they can tell people that still, if there is any kind of thing that they want, they have any kind of grievance not clear, then they can come and raise a ticket. And internally within the Flipkart team, these tickets can be routed specifically to those finance people, and they can look at that finance and the compliance people, because ESOPs going public, it's all a very big thing, right? They don't want any mistakes to happen. So this is where these kind of platforms can do justice, and it's very important for these companies also to invest in alumni management systems as early as possible, because it's not like you start your alumni management system today and after 1 month everyone will be on the platform. It simply doesn't happen. Overall engagement, people coming to the platform, joining, it all takes a lot of time.
Hmm. Got it. No, I'd personally seen this one when Reliance bought over Urban Ladder. When you are acquiring a company, you need the sign off of each and every one who's part of who has ESOPs. So they used to do it completely offline. They sent mails and then had a huge team following up and checking. I know the backstory, so I can imagine the pain they went through. But I can see a clear use
Yep.
case here, right? You do this completely here. You can track it very simply. Now they happen once in a
Yep.
lifetime, but in that once in a lifetime, there's so much pain that happens. Uh, cool. Please carry on, Dheeraj.
There is, by the way, one more use case I want to talk about, because this is happening unfortunately a lot nowadays, which is the concept of layoffs. Now, layoffs when typically happen, once a person is laid off, he is not allowed to come office from the next day onwards, right? There are so many questions in his mind, and that is where a lot of negativity starts flowing in, right? लोग एक दूसरे को WhatsApp पे मैसेज कर रहे हैं, pinging them, asking them what is going on. We have no clarity. But if you have a system like this, even all those laid off employees are part of the system the next day onwards. Again, you can resolve a lot of their queries via FAQ specifically for them. If there are any kind of doubt, they can again come and raise a ticket, right? Their previous documents, whatever documents you have to share, those can be shared off. We are also developing this concept of sign off on the system along with the digital signature. We are in the process of developing that. Those sign offs can also happen here. So that's also another use case which we solve. And I know any company which has done layoff, it always was like a manual process. उसके बाद सब कुछ email के ऊपर हो रहा है, and for the 1 week people are like very disturbed. Again, this can probably bring down the impact to some extent. That's all I hope for.
Yeah, and very unfortunately, having been part of that process, it is the 80/20 of this is purely from the other side. They are look, you've literally deactivated my email instantly, right after the
Yep.
conversation. They're like, what
Yep.
happens to my pay slips? What happens to my letters? What happens to my experience letters? Right? What happens to all the letters, the promotion letters? Pretty much all of those things. Uh, all 100% of the queries where I need everything from you. Don't just say
Yeah.
you'll give me the
Yeah.
last 12 months because I need my entire history. It was very, very painful. Very, very painful. So,
Yeah.
unfortunate, but uh, I can see a clear use case on this. Not sure if you
Yeah.
can promote that,
I
but
know. I know.
it is a problem. ठीक है, it is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Then I'm coming to the referral. I think this is going to be one of the most important things, both from an employer as well as alumni side, because this is where the alumni can actually make money. And once someone is making money on the platform, I don't think there is any other engagement which can be termed better than this. You're making money, you're bound to come back to this platform, right? So now here, as an alum, when I logged in, I'm able to see the referrals there. So I see all the active jobs within my company, which is called the Boom Group. I'm seeing they have opened something like for software developer. If I refer someone as per the conditions they have mentioned on successful referral, I will get 15,000 rupees. Right. Similarly, if the company is present across multiple geographies, let's say they are based out of London, for London entity, they are offering a reward of 1,000 pounds. So I can either look for, so if I am a software developer, my network also largely will be within the software developer. So I can come and look for all the
Correct.
jobs which are within this kind of space, right? So I can look, here it is only one. I can look for the locations. I can search Mumbai wise, Bangalore wise, New York wise, recency wise, experience level wise, right? So someone tells me, hey, can you refer me? So I can go and put all these filters because I know the other person and look for the relevant jobs, right? Now I see here either
So,
I can refer.
Dheeraj, sorry, one question here. So
Yes.
this is company wise, or is there like an all companies also? As because when I'm coming in, I, I don't mind seeing all the jobs of all the companies that I've been a part of.
Right now it is all company wise. If you want to see for the other
Got it.
company, just go and switch to a different persona.
Acha, got it. Okay.
Right now it doesn't make sense for us to combine the data again as per a lot of GDPR regulations. The company's data, we want to keep it different. But I don't believe there is a lot of friction. Just click here and go to other company.
Hmm. Got it. Got it. So the privacy is a problem. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Go carry on.
So now, if you want to refer someone, simply come here, upload the CV. We only ask for four mandatory information: first name, last name, email ID, phone number. LinkedIn URL is up to you, and just select your relationship with the referee, right? And go ahead and submit the referral. This is one way of doing that. But again, the problem is I always do not have access to someone else's CV. I don't want to type in his personal email ID and phone number and all those kind of things, right? That's also one friction point. So you can simply click on share, copy a link, and and share this link with the third person. So for example, if I'm opening now in incognito, I simply put this link. Now I'm, let's say, assume the third person. I got this link. So I, the third person, am able to go through the entire job brief, right? And I can apply myself here. So I click on apply here. I will be uploading my CV, my details, relationship with the referent, and if you see the referent name is by default there. I created this account for you, Ranak. Right. So the referral name is also there. So whosoever applies using this link, Ranak will get the referral benefit. Right now, the interesting thing is once the referral is applied for, everything goes under my referrals. So I can track, hey, I referred Ayushi Arora, either myself or she applied using the link. I referred this person, Rohit Lal. On what date did I refer? For what particular job did I refer? Is the job still open? What is my reward amount? And what is the hiring stage? What is the hiring status? For example, whenever the employer changes in their system that, hey, we shortlisted this person, we are moving him to the interview stage, our system will also capture that. So we will be doing those kind of integrations. And I'll be showing you this live also in the employer persona. But as a referrer, you will always be aware of the hiring status of your referee. So this is one thing which we wanted to do here.
Where are you getting the hiring status from?
So two things. Either the employer will update it on our system in his persona, or if we do an integration with their recruitment management system or ATS, let them make changes to the ATS, everything will
Acha.
automatically get updated here.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you have the integrations, and which platforms are you supporting currently for integrations?
So right now we are doing custom integrations. Any platform which you will ask, we will do the integration. We are in the process of doing
Acha,
integration of
okay.
one particular platform. I don't want to take names here right now, but this is completely custom. We are not saying to any ATS platform right now.
Acha, got it. So you have your APIs, and whoever is a open API, you're
Yes.
integrating. Okay, okay.
And being a young company, we
Got it.
are
Good.
open to develop new APIs, make changes to our API. So right now we are not saying no to any integration with any ATS, as long as that ATS has open APIs available.
ATS is supported. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good, good. I see known names here, but okay, cool.
Got it. So, and once your referrals are successful, it shows that they have been hired, and companies can set up here 45 days from the date of joining. They will be releasing the money and all. You will get a new tab here. Sorry, I can't show you right now, but you will get a new tab here called My Payouts, where you can claim, click on claim, and you can enter your PAN card number, bank account details. We verify the KYC within 5 seconds, and then we release the payment to you. And then we go back to the employer and ask them for the money.
Got it.
Right. So that's
And
one thing which will be done here.
sorry, one question. Last in your last page, there was something on GPP, right? It was like an international position.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so how does this work for, let's say an employee is currently abroad, or let's say this is
Hmm.
somebody who's not Indian.
Hmm.
Uh, how does that still work? Because it's not a PAN card. So you're basically taking any documents, any their money, whatever the government doc is, or is it only PAN you're taking at this point?
Okay. Let me answer this thing from India point of view with an Indian employee, non-Indian employee, and non-India entity. Let's say, so this currency is always a function of the entity where it is incorporated. Okay. So if it's an Indian company, they will be making the payout in rupee, right? That is what their preference will be. If it's a UK company, they will be making the payout in pounds. Now, let's say I am an Indian person. I successfully referred for this, and this 15,000 rupees have to be given to me. If I put my PAN card details, because I will be having, we will deduct 10% TDS and send the remaining payment your way. If I do not have the PAN card, being an Indian national, or I do not have PAN card because I am not an Indian national, like both the things are possible. In that case, we deduct something like 20.8% from the overall amount and send the remaining amount to you. That is as per the law from India. If the PAN card is not there because either the person doesn't have it or he is a non-Indian, then we deduct 20.8%, which is basically 20% TDS plus 4% cess, that is 20.8%. Similarly, when it comes to other geographies, right now we are in this process of still developing it because honestly, we don't have any person from outside the geography. It will take something like 6 to 7 months, but at that time, we will be making payments as per the local laws and regulations. We have already studied the model of how
Okay.
does Twitter makes the payout for their monetization, how does YouTube does the payout, and we are in the process of developing that right now.
Got
Okay.
it. Got it.
Give me a break for 1 minute. I have to put it on charging. Okay. Now I want to show you one very interesting thing. A lot of people love it. Now, if I go and click on my profile, this is how my profile will look like once I log in for the first time, right? The name is coming from your sign up page, your email ID is coming, mobile number you have updated probably during your sign up. Rest, nothing else is coming here, right? And while you can update your work experience, you can update your education details, we know people are not going to do it, right? So what we have developed here is we have developed a LinkedIn integration. So just come here and put your profile URL here. I've already put in your URL, Ranak, right? Now just put your public URL and click on this sync button and see the magic. It will take up to 5 to 10 seconds, maybe. See this?
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, your photo has come. This is completely your educational history, right? I don't think we missed anything. Your about me has
No.
come. Your work experience has come. Now, from data privacy point of view, we are only fetching that data that you have made publicly available. So there are certain cases, let's say, where your photo is not publicly available on LinkedIn while you have uploaded, but it is not visible to people outside your network, right? In those scenarios, your photo will not come. So we are taking care of all the data privacy regulations, everything. right? Now, if you see here, you work for Boom Drive Digital Solutions from this date to this date. This will always be there because this information has been uploaded by your company, and we show it with the tick because this is like a verified information. Rest of the things have come from LinkedIn. You can go ahead and edit or delete whatever changes you want to do because those are like your declarations. We eventually per se as a company we want to reach maybe after another 5 years or so, where at least 40 to 50% of the information on everyone's page is like a verified information. That is what is our internal target.
There's like a very clear use case for BGVs here, right? Once that is there, you don't really need to do a background check.
Yeah. And see, look at this another thing also. Let's say you are a part of a very large company, a TCS or a Wipro or Infosys kind of organization where there are lakhs of people and you don't know everyone else. Now you want to reach out to a Wipro alum or something like this. You do not even know whether like how many Wipro alums are there on LinkedIn. I don't know if you have done like LinkedIn search or not. If you're a normal user, just look for like people who were part of Wipro. It will tell you there are 5 lakh people. Okay. But it will show you the data of only 1,000 people, the first 1,000 people.
Hmm.
Like it doesn't solve for anything. So what you do is you go log in into a Wipro Alumni network, a platform which is provided by them, will do some research and all. You will come across with certain profiles. Now there the problem is you do not know what they are presently doing. Like you have no idea because no one updates their where they are working, where they have worked on the platforms because no one has this kind of LinkedIn integration. Then you will be taking some names and you will be going back to LinkedIn, will be searching them and see whether they fit your criteria or not. And how we do things at Boomerangs is look at this one. You click on search alumni. By the way, this is like an image. This module is going live by 30th of June. You click on search alumni. It shows you the list of all the alumni within your network. And by the way, here it is a common alumni network. So if you're part of 3 organizations, this page is common, similar to what you asked for earlier, like for referrals, but this page here is common because this is a user data. This is not technically an employee data. So that's why we could make it common. Now come here, search either via name, email ID, or if you want to say people who are presently working in these organizations, let's say IBM or something, show me all those people. Then it shows you all those relevant people. So you can put via organizations, educational institute wise, years of experience wise, all these filters you can put. And now click on this view profile. So you are able to view the entire profile. This is with the assumption that people will be updating their profile using LinkedIn integration because it's easy. But this is how you are able to view the entire profile. Now it makes more sense, right? Now this entire process you can't do on LinkedIn. You can't do on other alumni management platform. This only you can do it on Boomerangs. So this is our second USP, a major one.
Got it.
Now, if you want to talk to this alum, you can click on send a message and you can reach out to this alum and have the conversation. Now, whenever you are having conversation by an alumni network solution, the credibility is completely different, right? You know, the person is definitely a part of alumni network. Someone randomly reaches out to me on LinkedIn, even though he's my alum or not. I don't know whether he's my alum or not. There is no credibility on LinkedIn per se, right? That's always a problem. So we are trying to give the best of like traditional alumni management system and to the other extreme LinkedIn, which is a large professional network, trying to give you the best of both the worlds.
Got it.
Yeah. So
Got it
this
clearly,
is
Dheeraj.
this is what I largely wanted to share from the alumni side. Any questions? Happy to answer.
Not with the product. I think is there anything else you want to show our listeners?
Yeah, I want to show you the employer side of the persona. I think people are going to love
We are
that.
left with that. Yeah,
Yeah. So let me know if my screen
because
is
most of the
visible here.
folks listening in, Dheeraj, yeah, because most of the people listening in will be people who are in HR, right? People
Yeah.
who are either part of teams or leading teams.
Yeah.
They're very curious to see how things work out for them.
Yeah. Very interesting. And I'll show you some very, very interesting things, especially good use case for HR leaders, the kind of analytics and the data they have been looking for, and they are not getting it from anywhere. So let me start with, you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All good.
Okay, perfect. So We thought, if we are developing this system and if we are taking your alumni data, which is your exit employees, why not also build the attrition analytics for you? Because we wanted it to become like a single source of truth whenever it came to alumni data, right? That is what we wanted to do. So if you see here, all your different legal entities within one particular group are available here. So you can put your time filter and say, show me the attrition analytics for like for the entire time period. So it tells you you have 130 alumni. It is divided gender wise, right? It is divided status wise. Status wise is how many accounts have you activated, how many have you not activated. Show me the attrition department wise, show me the attrition BU wise, right? Your attrition by tenure, exit type, regrettable, non-regrettable, attrition count by reason, job roles, all the standard attrition analytics that you need. All this data you can download in the form of an image or download the raw data in the form of CSV as well, or increase the size of this if you want to take a screenshot or something. All those things can be done here on this platform. As a very small use case, it is not something which is like we are solving a big problem. No, but the idea of developing this was because we wanted it to be a single source of truth. That's all. Now, let me take you this alumni directory. I think this is where where the employers will be spending the most of their time.
Dheeraj, Dheeraj,
Yes,
one sec. Can you just go back to the insights?
I will. Yes.
There is one again. I'm uh, just this just came to my mind. There is one very strong use case that, and I'm taking the hat of mostly an HR leader. One big problem that every one of us faces, see, we get attrition, right? I mean, I can always crunch Excel and find this also.
Hmm.
What we cannot solve for is where our people are going, where they are
Yes.
joining. They're
Yes.
joining competition, what company they're joining. Is that something you're doing or you haven't built? Because that's a massive use case. I
Yes.
personally am trying to solve that. My LinkedIn में जाके I'm checking one by one. Do you have
Yeah.
that already built in?
Yes, absolutely. And that is
Okay,
where the
okay,
whole
okay. Let's
concept
cover
of,
that also.
yeah, LinkedIn integration comes into picture. So that is also solved under our alumni directory,
Yeah.
right? So this alumni directory does a lot of things for you, right? So this is where it shows you your overall alumni. Let's say it is showing 317 people are there across multiple legal entities. There are five legal entities under this group. Let's say you want to look for people who have spent, let's say, 0 to 4 years in your organization. Okay. And you want to look for people who left you at least 3 years ago. In fact, this last exited filter also I have not seen in a lot of HRMS as well. Who left you, let's say, 3 years ago. It tells you there are 61 people. Now, where our LinkedIn integration comes into picture, you see this. This is, show me alumni who are presently working in this company, or who have previously worked in this company, or who have been passed out of a certain educational institute. For example, I want to say here, show me the chartered accountants. So I just type and it shows me this one, right? And I click on search. Shows me this guy is there. It has one the less number of employees here, so it shows me this one particular result. So now when I open this page, this entire member details is basically the data which I as an employer uploaded for this particular employee or alum, right? Now I want to see what did he fill in his LinkedIn profile. Just click on view public profile and it opens up that same page. You see this? This guy is passed out of
Mm-hmm.
Indian Institute of Chartered Accountants,
Hmm.
right? You want to see something for, let me reset all the filters and say you want to look for people who work in startups or who have previously worked in startups. So I'm not putting a company name, I'm just using a tag called startups. The tags can be banking, startups, BFSI, pharma, those kind of things, right? Any number of tags. B2B, SaaS. By the way, you cannot do all this kind of search in LinkedIn, right? You cannot use the word B2B, you cannot use the word SaaS. This is not how it works. If I'm not wrong, shadi.com on LinkedIn is registered as like a computer software or I don't know, internet company or something, which doesn't do justice to that company because they have a very narrow concept of industry and sub industry. We came up this concept of tags,
Hmm.
and in the back end we keep on maintaining tags for each and every company after doing the thorough research. So now let's say you are looking for people who work in startups. So these are the five people who have worked in startups. So this is your profile which we created. If I click on this, view public profile, your startup is coming. At least I know it is coming. One for this Darwin box. I know I've set it up in the system for startup. but you have worked in a lot of startups any which ways, right? So they know these are the people who worked in these startups. Now this is like a search which you can do as per the filters whenever required. Very soon, we are, anyways have all the data. Very soon we are making changes to our landing page, and we will be showing you what percentage of your people work in what companies. I have one image with me. If you allow me, I will show you that image right now. Sorry, because our design is finalized there. Let me show you that thing. Yes. So this is what we will be showing you in another 1 month on your landing pages. Your top, let's say 50% of your employees are in this company, 10% of people are in this company. And of course, it is all a function of how many people are
This
syncing their LinkedIn
is
profile, right? And again,
funny.
once we,
If done correctly, this is super powerful, Dheeraj. Yeah.
yeah, and you cannot get this from LinkedIn. We try to figure out a lot of ways, we can't. Even after paying money to LinkedIn, you can't
Manually
get
you
this
can.
data.
Manually.
No, not
Which is
even.
what we are doing.
It is not even manually possible. I am sidetracking, but I can show you one interesting thing if your audience is willing to see this. Let's say I'm a normal user. I'm going into search page, okay, and I say I want to look for all the people and show me people who have previously worked in. I'm taking example of Flipkart because it has a large number of alumni. Okay, I say Flipkart. Let's see how many results does it give. It says 42,000 people. Can I see all 42,000 people? I cannot. Why? Because if you see, there are only 10 results shown in one single page, and I can go only till 100. So I can see only 1,000 results out of 42,000. There is no way I can breach the 1,000 mark. If I am a LinkedIn Navigator user, I can go to 2,500 users. That's it. So even after paying money, you can't get the data of all these 42,000 people. So when you are saying Ranak, you will do manually, you can't do manually because it is not letting you go beyond this 100 number. So, but
No, what
in
what
our system,
I
you can
meant
do
as
this.
manual was we used to. What I meant by manual was I type the name of the person, go
Yeah,
and check where they are
yeah,
working, and type it on a piece of paper. I mean that I can do because I think the number is small at this point, but at
yeah,
scale this is not possible.
yeah, yeah. So this is like a very very powerful data which we share with people. I want to show you one more thing. This is again important. So this like you open one person's profile as an employer, you are able to view each and everything here. What are the member details? Good future hire, yes or no. You can activate, deactivate it as per your requirement. The documents which you have shared with that particular person, any tickets raised by Ranak here, any referrals which are being shared by Ranak. Everything that Ranak is doing in the platform, everything will be available here. In the future, you will see another column here called posts. So any post that you do on Echo module, that will also be visible here. Moving further, the document section. So this is where you can come and upload documents in bulk. Again, you can do it legal entity wise, all those things you can do. This is like your drive. You come and create folders, subfolders, move files from one system to another. All those things that you do, very similar to how you do it in a Google Drive, right? Additional thing that we do is we give you some kind of analytics here. For example, it tells you you have used this much of memory, you have 10 folders, you have overall uploaded 20 files. So these can be like KPIs for HR ops team, right? You can search for any data here. If you have uploaded a data, you have shared it with, let's say, a wrong person by mistake, whatever. So you simply come here, click on edit and enter the new employee ID. Let me just copy this employee ID and I put it here. So it tells you, hey, this is the user Naveen Kumar, this is his email ID. That's it. Now you click on share. So the document is removed from the previous email ID and it is shared with the new email ID. That's it.
Understood. Okay.
Right? And mistakes are bound to happen. We just wanted to develop a system in such a way that it doesn't become a big thing. कि जहाँ पे आपको पूरा रिग्रेशन ही करना पड़े, reverse this process, reverse that process. We don't want that. Then there is this FAQ section. While it's one of the most basic things, but you can drag and drop in what order you want to share your FAQs to the other person. What are the different categories that you want to have? What are the different icons you want to use for category? When a person opens FAQs, it is all expanded by default or it is all closed by default. Now these are all very minor basic things, but we wanted to give like good experience to people, so we took extra pain to develop this. You preview how the FAQs will look like to your people right here, like your published FAQs. If I change it to, let's say, something like this, expand all fields by default, and then I go to preview, now everything is expanded here. Series. So minor things, but took extra pain for to drive good user behavior. Then this is the job section. Now this is important. I know you asked me a lot of questions about jobs earlier as well during the Alumni persona. So first of all, we have a concept of a recruiter, super recruiter, all the rules and permissions which are required in an ATS system. All those rules and permissions are available in our system as well. So now if you want to post a job, just go to post new job, select your relevant legal entity, put your job title, and this I'm showing you without integration. Put your job title, your total positions, let's say you have 3 positions, work experience, and this is where you put your reward. And the relevant currencies which you put in a configuration, those will also come here. We have done a Google integration here. So you want to post this job for Chennai, just click on Chennai. So it will show you the relevant results. Put your skills which you want, right? Put your job description and then publish the job. Simple. Once the job is published, right? So I've shown you here on the user side how does the job look. This is how the job will look like once it is published. Now coming back to the employer persona, once the job is published, you are able to see there have been like 5 CVs in the screening stage. So the entire job is divided into 4 categories by default in our platform: screening stage, interview stage, offered stage, and hired stage. So whenever any CV comes, it comes under the screening stage. So you can view all the CVs within this. You can go to next applicant. You want to view the CV, just click on download and view the CV right from here. Any other details which have been filled in the form, those things will be available here. You can see if you like the CV, you want to shortlist this person, just click on shortlisted. So the status is changed. Remember, Ranak, you asked this question how the status is getting changed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right?
Got it.
You like this person, you want him to move to the interview stage, just click on in progress in the interview stage. Now the person has moved to the interview stage. So this is how things happen here, right? If you see Rohit Lal, he has moved to the interview stage.
Dheeraj, sorry, one question here. When you publish the job, it gets published to everyone, or can you pick and choose? I want it only to go to certain set of people.
Right now it gets published to everyone. The question that have been asked by people or the requirement that have come is, can we publish it only to people who have been marked as good future hires? And that's very much possible.
Makes sense.
uh, yeah, but if you want us to do it as per
Yeah,
your
that
different
makes sense.
departments and BUs, I think that becomes unnecessarily complex. We will anyways can develop these rules for you that people who have been marked as like they left you on bad terms, their CVs can be ignored. All those configurations are possible. So there is no point you taking the pains of selecting this set of people should get this job referral opportunity. That is not required.
Hmm. No, another. I'll tell you what I had in mind. Again, it's not a very happy scenario. You had to, let's say, let go of one entire team, but after a month, things which is happening, right? You let go of entire teams, and after a couple of months, you're like, shit, I have to rehire the whole team again because things are better now, right? And then that team sees all of this. This gives a very. It's happened, right? You know the news I'm talking of.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
People come and say, "Hey, we were all let go, and now you're hiring that team." So again, I think the use case, the solution is what you said. They should not be
yeah,
marked as good hires or
yeah,
something till a certain point. Fair
yeah.
enough. Fair enough.
This is one thing. Then moving to ticket section. While tickets is very similar to I showed you on Persona, but from analytics point of view, you can view all the tickets where the SLA breaches have happened. You want to view tickets by specific admins by category, you can view it. One interesting use case that we solve here is, for example, someone has raised a ticket in a category which is wrong, right? So the admin can go ahead and reassign this to the correct category. For example, this has been assigned to finance category. He can go to say it is part of HR category, and he can select the reason. Let's say it was a wrong category selected by the person, and then he can reassign it to the correct person. So whosoever are the admins under the new categories, all their names will pop up here, and he can reassign. And now what happens is that everything which happens in the system, right? So here, for everything there is a log being maintained here. If you see closure request sent by this person, request submitted, then assigned to this person, and after that it is reassigned to this person. If you see just now, this is the time, right? 1:36 p.m.
Got it.
June 17th. The entire log is being maintained here. For everything that is happening, the log is maintained here. And the second thing which we do well as compared to other players in the market is we give you these kind of analytics. So again, legal entity wise, for the filters that is for the time filters that you select, system will tell you what are your overall number of tickets. What is the average FRT? FRT stands for
Mm.
first response time. Then TAT, SLA breaches. So if you see, it tells you month wise, 100 tickets have been created, 80 has been closed, and 20 tickets the SLA has been breached. Right? This is again important data. It tells you your category wise data, which is the category where you are getting, let's say, the maximum number of tickets, right? So that you can take corrective action
Mm.
because you do not want a lot of tickets. So even it tells you graph wise, every month these many tickets are getting here. So if you know if it is related to Form 16, you will probably see the spike around May, June, July. It means there is some problem with your communication,
Mm.
right? That people have to raise this.
Mm.
So you need to find out maybe different ways. Like say FAQs are not working, no worries. So you say, I will go to my Echo module, right? I will put whatever I want to write regarding FAQs and sorry regarding Form 16 when it will be given, and then I can pin this message on the top. So every time someone logs in, this is the first message they see. Boss, your Form 16 will be given to you by 30th of June. Do not raise tickets, do not send mails and all, right? Solves your purpose.
Mm.
So these kind of things. And
Got it.
similarly,
And by the way, at the back end, may this like how's the communication happening with them on emails, right? For every ticket, there's an email going in.
that's correct.
They have to come in and see this.
There is a ticket going on to alumni, and for the employer, there is an email going to the alumni, and for the employer, there is email as well as
Mm.
something called my pending tasks.
Got it. Yeah.
And the same goes for the members as well, who are your top performing individual admins. I remember this again as part during my sales process in HR tech companies. People used to ask me, okay, we need this KPI at least. Who is doing well? Can this directly be linked to your performance management module? Can it automatically go as a KPI? Remember, people used to ask this thing. Yeah.
Mm.
So that's the reason we developed this here. So this is there. And I want to show you one couple of very interesting things here. See, we wanted this solution to be like entirely self-sufficient. And when I say entirely self-sufficient, Ranak, I mean it. Not like you have seen a lot of products within HRTech when they say this is self-sufficient, but then you have to take the services of this company, that service, that company to make changes to your system or to setting it or to set it up. This is a 6 months process, right? We all have been through that situation. Here, if you tell me to set up this system for even a 10,000 employee organization without integrations, I think we can do it within 15 days. And that's it. And everything will be done from here, will be like we don't have any separate login access, which is there with only us and it is not there with the client. No, it's the same login access. In fact, the employer will have to go to members and add a member with our email ID and using and give us like a super admin access. With that email ID, we will be setting up the entire system and then they can disable the access. Completely everything done from here. And some of the small things, for example, email templates, we typically have to rely on the other team, like the vendor, right? They will be setting it up all the email templates from their backend, correct? And there are limitations on those email templates also. If you see here, this is the email which will go when you activate the account of any alum. You can put in your subject. You can come and upload any logo here. You want to put anything at the top. You want to upload an image, or you do not like this persona at all, right? You say, hey, I want to divide it into multiple columns. You can divide it into multiple columns. You need a button somewhere. You need some text somewhere. You need to upload an image. Just use these things, and you can create your own template. After creating a template, preview it. How will it look like on a laptop in a 1280 resolution? How will it look like on an iPad? How will it look like on a mobile? Keep on changing the resolutions. See this? So while these are like small things, but as I said, we wanted to give a superlative user experience, right? So all these small things we have done, and yeah, it takes time to develop these things. So we have taken that pain to develop these things right from day one itself.
It's lovely, Dheeraj.
If you look at options, like for example, whenever an email goes, while the email will always go from no reply at the rate boomerangs.ai, but what should be the display name? Right? For example, if you take example of Infosys, you want it to be like Infosys Illumina Network. Just come and type it. The mails will go with the display name as Infosys Illumina Network. That's it. Don't have to go back to your vendor and say, hey, change our display name, which is the case with everyone in the market right now. I showed you the landing page as an alumni when you log in. What is the landing page? That landing page is completely created from here. You want to make changes to that landing page, you can come and make it here. You want to upload a new image, you want to put a text for this on the banner, what should be the text color, what should be the text size. If you want a button here, what should be the button color, button size. Once I click on the button, what should be the link, should it be opening in the same tab or the new tab? Everything is defined here. So the idea is, while we set it up for you one time, tomorrow if you want to make minor changes, you can do it from here. Your chairman changes, your MD changes, your CEO changes. You want to upload a new photo, you don't need to come back to us. Just come, go here, click here, and upload a new photo. You want to change the message, anyway, the text is written here. Change the message, change the font color, everything that you want, right?
Got it.
So the idea is again at a scale. The way we foresee this system is, once it is implemented, and once the integrations are done with your HRMS system and your ATS system, you don't have to come to the system to do anything unless it's a ticket, or if you want to view certain analytics like what LM works in which company. Apart from that, you don't need to come to the system. It will be working in an auto mode.
Got it, Dheeraj. Oh, cool. Dheeraj, thanks for this, for the demo.
Ranak, I
This
want to
was really
share one
really
more thing
positive.
here. I'm taking
Yeah.
one more minute. This is very important for your audience. While I talked about a lot of problems initially in the market, how we are solving that, one very important problem which I didn't highlight, I wanted to wait till the end, is the pricing problem. Look at it this way: if you are, let's say, a 7 or 8 years old organization, your alumni base is significantly higher than your employee base. So one of the reasons people do not invest money in alumni management system is, boss, हमारा alumni का size तो बढ़ता ही जाएगा हमेशा. How will we keep on making these recurring payments? And this is how the pricing of all the alumni systems work in the market. So this was again a major problem that we had to solve if we wanted to democratize the alumni system. Are we want from 1%, can we at least go to 10% alumni penetration rate over the next 5 years or 6 years? So we came up with a very interesting pricing strategy. Our strategy goes as follow: that all the older alumni of the organization are brought onto our platform free of cost. So for example, if you sign a contract with me today, any employees whose last working date is before the contract signing date, he is brought onto the platform free of cost. Be it 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 alumni. And that's how we have done it for our existing customers. One customer, there are 15,000 alumni, we are not charging it. Because if there is no alumni base on day one, then your referrals won't work. Then the messaging that you want to do, that will not work, right? So that is what we wanted to do. And if you start charging for these older alumni, then people are like, last 5 years ka karte hain, last 6 years ka karte hain.
People won't be
And a
happy.
lot of good alumni are left out of it. Second is, after the system is implemented, any new alum which is brought onto the platform, we charge only 1,000 rupees per alum one time. So if in a year you have 100 exits, we are only charging you 1 lakh rupees that year. Next year, if you have zero exits, you have to pay zero rupee. So that's how things work. If you do not want to work with us, let's say after 3 years or 4 years, no worries. You can still continue using the system. You can still continue engaging the existing alumni tickets. Everything will be available. The only thing which is taken out is you cannot upload new alumni. So that's how our pricing model works. We believe this is very, very important to democratize the alumni management system.
Well, that makes sense, because the power is in the
Yeah.
alumni, right? And makes sense that you want to have that alumni. Once you have that database,
Yeah.
uh, you can do a lot of things on it. Uh, Cool. Dheeraj, again, I want to give as much value to folks who are listening in, and I'm sure like people get alumni, right? People get that this is useful, but I'll give you a tough question, and how would you take this for those listening in? Uh, let's say someone is very convinced, right? Be it your tool, be it something they want to do, whatever it is, right? We are talking of the whole alumni world. They want to get an alumni tool on board, right? But ROI, that dreaded three letters in our world, they have to explain the ROI to, let's say, the CEO or the finance head or whoever it is, right? Given that you have sold, you've been in sales for so long, right? What is the tips and tricks that you would have for somebody to sort of position uh, their ROI conversation with their business heads, right? So that they get a green light from them.
See, ROI for an employer, there are two parts to ROI, tangible and non-tangible. I will talk about both the things. Let's first talk about tangible. The tangible ROI will come from two things. One is alumni referral and another will be boomerang hires. Every organization already has a concept of employee referral. So they know the money that is being saved from employee referral, right? They simply have to do the calculations that, let's say, in 1 year or 2 years, we are targeting 15% referrals coming from the alumni management. That's it. Whatever money you are saving from employee referral, let's say 25% are coming from alumni employee referrals, simply divide by 25, multiply by 15. So that tells you the benefits or the gains which will be from this particular platform. That is one. Second is boomerang hires. Boomerang hires, your cost is nil. Even if you are getting 5% of the boomerang hires, take the average CTC of an employee in your organization, multiply it with 0.05. So that's the second thing which goes into your numerator, right? So I have defined the numerator. Denominator is the money that you spend on this. That also I've told you. Whatever your exits are in a year, multiplied by probably 1,000, right? In a year, not the previous exits. So it's very easy to calculate the ROI. This is a tangible ROI. A non-tangible ROI, which I talked in terms of brand advocacy and all those things, alumni recommendation, all those things, you cannot quantify them. But I personally follow a very simple metric, and it is on the conservative side. Whatever tangible ROI you are getting, multiplied by 1.2. That's your overall ROI. So that includes both tangible and intangible benefits.
Got it. Got it. So that is helpful. And it's also helpful because when you put it in pure numbers, when you put it in pure math,
Yeah.
right, the leaders get it. Because leaders always deal with math. Great, Dheeraj. Like I said, these conversations go on, and I'm sure we could have gone on much longer. But as just a closing, where do people find you? Do you want to share some sort of where do people find you? Where do people find boomerangs? How do they reach out to you?
Yeah, thank you very much. That's very important. So everyone listening, we are available on www.boomerangs.ai. We have a LinkedIn page by the same name, boomerangs.ai, or look out for me, Dheeraj Arora. You will find me on the LinkedIn. So please reach out to us either via LinkedIn or through our website. We would love to show you our product demo.
Great, cool. Dheeraj, thank you for coming on. This was lovely. Thank you for sharing what the alumni world is all about. Thank you for sharing that ROI and of course your product. It's an amazing product and hopefully, right? It's this. I know the larger problem that you're solving in a long term. It's going to be very net positive, right? Because you hit correct problems in the head.
Hmm.
I hope the listeners listening in just got a quick glimpse of how tech can actually solve real problems, right? How tech can leverage these. And thank you for coming on, Dheeraj. Thanks for sharing. It's great having you on.
Thank you very much, Rana. I loved our conversation, and it also reminds me that we need to meet or catch up more often and have more of these conversations. Once again, thank you very much for inviting me, Ranak, and thank you for the lovely audience.
Lovely, cool.